Alright, so let me just go ahead and give you some tips and pointers if you're struggling with my jamming and improvising exercise, the chord riff concept. Well, the first thing is very, very important that you do is repeat your riffs many, many times. You don't want to just play it once and then change it. You want to try to remember exactly what you played and play it again. Play it again. Play it again. Play it again until it finally you get it down and solidified it, and it sounds good and you understand again, and you want to know what the numbers are. So stop playing the riff and check out what the numbers are. Really just kind of understand what you're playing. So that's really very important. This is going to help you to, again, be able to memorize stuff better, to be able to improvise just better because now you have a memory, to be able to know the numbers, to be able to see the pattern, and it helps to keep with the rhythm and to keep the flow going. It makes it sound like a song. So the next thing that you want to think about is basically, sometimes you might really struggle with actually making a riff because you're thinking, well, I don't know what to play. Well, what I would suggest is to choose 3 notes or 4 notes. Either 3 notes or 4 notes. Just play 3 notes, 1, 2, 3 in whatever order. So I'm just going to play a 1, a 4, and a 5. Actually a 3. I'll play a 1, a 3, a 4, and a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's easy to remember that order, right? You just know it's 1, 3, 4, 5. You can very easily remember the order of 4 notes. Then I like you to add the technique of tremolo picking. That means playing the same note many times, okay? So I'm going to play the first note a few times, then the second note a few times, and then the next one, and then maybe the last one I'll just play it once. So I'm just kind of changing out my tremolo picking, how many times I'm playing each note. And then there, I've got a riff. You play 3 notes and then you just start tremolo. Just play one of the notes more times, play the other one maybe once, play the next one a few times, and play the last one once. So you just kind of want to change that around. It's really easy. I'll do it again. I'll play 3 notes this time. This is going to be the 8, the 5, and the 3. And sounds really boring without any tremolo, so easy to remember the order of those 3 notes, just adding tremolo to some of them. Easy stuff. Another thing you can experiment with is hammer-ons and pull-offs. Alright, that's a really good way to make your wrist pretty nice. Those 2 techniques are going to be really nice, and sometimes a vibrato if you want to do something like that. I don't actually encourage you to use bends because we're using low strings here and it's kind of hard to bend the low strings, so it's just better to vibrato them in general. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk again about how to make more phrases. So once you've sort of like decided on a little phrase and it's cool and all, maybe you can start making some variations on that phrase. So you might want to like play the same notes in a different order. So if I was playing the 1, this is that riff I was playing earlier. So I'm just playing the 1, the 3, the 4, and the 5 here. Well, what I like to do is play the same notes in a different order. Alright, so in fact let me write some of the stuff on the board so that way you can sort of see what's going on. Alright, so basically what we have here is the top part, chord riff, repeat, play 3 or 4 notes, play some tremolo picking, play some legato, some vibrato. So here we could play the same notes in a different order. So I had the 1, 3, 4, 5 riff here. Alright, now I'm going to change the order of the notes. I'll just play it backwards. Just another variation. It sounds very, very similar. But it's different. And when things sound similar but different, it means that they work together. They sound similar but they're a little bit different. So maybe I'll change the notes even more. I'm just playing a 4, 3, 5, 1, 4, 3, 5, 1. Same notes, different order. I could also keep the exact same riff and just simply change the beginning, the very first note basically. So I'm going to return to my original riff. Here it is. So I'm going to change the very first note. It's going to be a different note. Maybe I'll start on the 7. Sounds sick. I just changed the first note from the 1, changed it to a 7. Yeah, I'm breaking the rule here, but you know, it's okay because it sounds good. As long as it sounds good, you can break the rule. So I could also change the middle. So I'm gonna start on the 1, and then I'll just kind of like change the middle, and then I'll end on the very last note. It might be harder to remember here, but or, you know, let's make this even simpler. Well, no, when you change the middle, you're basically changing the whole riff. So, I don't know, maybe that's not such of a good thing. I'll just kind of take this out. But yeah, you could just change the middle, keep the beginning and the end the same. I don't know, I think it would be more if there was sort of like a, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's just think about changing the very first note or changing the very last note. I think those are two good options. We'll just, because changing the middle is basically like changing the riff. So let's just do this. Change the beginning and change the end. So again, here back to my riff. I'm going to change the very last note. Change it, sounds pretty cool. Next one here, we're going to play the same notes with a different rhythm. So you're playing the 1, the 3, the 4, and the 5 here. And this time I'll play it like this. Just a little bit of a different rhythm. Same notes, different rhythm. And if I'm struggling to create a rhythm pattern, well, maybe I can just tap out a beat. I'd like you to pretend like all the notes that you're playing are like chords. See, when you play a chord, you're probably going to strum it a few times. You're not just going to play like the next chord. You're going to play the same chord a few times. Right? So same logic goes for playing notes. You're not just going to change the note immediately. You're going to play the note a few times. And that's how you come up with cool music. Alright, very important that you use triad plus 1 format. When you get better, you can start to play more than just one note. But when you're first starting this exercise, just use one note in addition to the triad. So that's going to be very powerful. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, just go and leave it in the comments.